Hey guys, it's me, Made of Jen, and welcome back to my channel and welcome back to another video. So today I'm gonna go ahead and show you guys a drugstore only makeup tutorial. It was gonna be a Milani only brand video, but I just realized I don't have completely everything Milani. I'm missing like a bronzer, literally just a bronzer, that's it. So maybe I'm still debating whether I want to make this into a Milani only video. I literally just am getting ready to go to the movies. It's not a big deal type of makeup. This is usually the type of makeup I wear when I know I'm gonna go to work and I don't wanna, it's like a makeup no makeup in a way. But yeah, the first thing I do is I'm gonna use this from NYX. This is the face glue gripping primer. So if you've seen any of my recent videos, you know that I actually really like this. It is good for my skin. I like this consistency on this primer better than the e.l.f. one. I have tried the e.l.f. one before. I just am not the biggest fan of it. I don't like how it feels too tacky on my skin, and it leaves me like with a weird kind of like gloss on my face. This, yes, I know I look glossy right now as is, but I did apply my skincare beforehand, and I can't find my little fan. Usually my little fan, I will use it right now so that I can dry my skin. So I'm actually going to use this fan. This is my lashes fan. I used to use this to dry my lashes when I had extensions. So I would wash them and I would just dry them like this. But this only has one speed only. I literally got this on Amazon with a set. It was the lash cleaner with the little brush, and this came with it, so I obviously bought it. I haven't had my lash extensions in about almost 2 months, I want to say, give or take. It's just that it's so much high maintenance, and at some point in time I was actually broke. I wasn't really even buying makeup. I wasn't buying anything. I was literally that broke where I couldn't buy anything. So I was just like, I can't afford my lashes, so if I'm gonna sacrifice something, it would be that. And I honestly only did lash extensions for about 6 months. So Milo, what are you doing, little guy? You okay? So, by the way, if you guys hear any noise at some point, I do have my child, Milo, and also I have a new addition. You guys can't see her, but her name is Mia, and she is back there. Yeah, I don't know if you guys can see her, but I do still have Mitzi. She's knocked the hell out in the couch. Yeah, so in case you guys hear any noise at some point, it is gonna be Milo. Milo is my double child. I love him to death. He is a mama's boy, but God, does he drive me insane. He drives me insane. And now that we have this mostly dried down, I'm gonna go ahead and go in with my first Milani product, which is gonna be this. Excuse the dirtiness, it was in my drawer. But this is the Milani Conceal and Perfect Blur Out Smoothing Primer. I know that this primer has a lot of love-hate. Like, there's people who really love it and there's people who really hate it. The key thing with this primer is not to use too much, and also to let it sit on your face. You need to actually let this simmer on your face for a couple of minutes before you go in with anything else. If you do not, you will have what's the word I'm looking for? You'll have pilling, and I know that's what everybody hates so much on their makeup, and I don't blame you. But I actually just use this on the T-zone area because this is where I am the most oily, and also where I have the most pores right here, so I need to cover it. So to let this simmer on my face, I'm actually going to move on to my brows. I usually don't do my brows, or I haven't done my brows first on camera in a long time, but I am going to... Milo! Give me a second. Yeah, Milo's having a hard time adjusting being the only guy in the house. He does not like that, you know, I got her a litter box and he is being very territorial. He's using her litter box. He's trying to eat her food even though it's kitten food. Mia's story is she just popped up in my backyard like all the other cats have from my mom's house. And the thing is, she popped up into my mom's house, and where is this powder? You know, I just thought about that. Oh, it's right here. She popped up at my mom's house. I live in the backyard, and not in the backyard, but I live in the back house. And she was skin and bones, and my mom was like, I cannot take her in. I'm just gonna have to leave her out. And I actually did not want another cat. I was literally just surviving with Milo and Mitzi at this point, but her little blue eyes just got me. I put my hand out, she came towards me, I grabbed her, I gave her a bath. She's been here ever since, and she's literally living her best life. She never wants to go back outside. If I open the door, she doesn't even make a run for it. She literally just stays in this room. Her and Milo do butt heads a lot. He wants to play with her, but because he is so much bigger than her, he is obviously, she's a fighter. She fights with everybody. She fights with Mitzi. It's not just Milo. She's fighting with everybody. But anyway, let's continue. So before I start with my actual brow pencil, I'm gonna go in with this, which I'm actually gonna use later also to set my makeup. This is the Milani Conceal and Perfect Blur Out Powder. I do have the translucent. There is also a banana color in this. I believe you can only get that online on Ulta's website and also on Milani's website. I literally have just the regular one, and I'm actually gonna just use this on my brows really quick. I'm just gonna set my brows. I do have very oily skin, a very oily T-zone at that, and one of the things that I've learned along the way with applying stuff to my brows is if I don't set them like with powder beforehand, they will get really, really greasy, and my eyebrows will literally just slide off. And in order to avoid that, I just pretty much just bake them before I start with my brows. So I actually don't have a drugstore bronzer at all. I just literally noticed that. I should have bought the Milani one. It was on sale, but the curiosity didn't really like hit me. It hit me with other products, more like their complexion products than the bronzer. But yeah, there was a sale at Ulta. They had the big summer sale, and the first week they had Milani products on sale. And this is where I'm at right now, why I have so many of the Milani stuff right now, which I have honestly been trying out and using. So for the brows, I am going to use this. This is actually the Ulta Beauty Ultra Slim Brow Pencil. This is in the color Brunette. So for the brows, I'm actually gonna brush them down. So as you guys saw, I did brush them down like through, because the powder does, you know, build up in the brows. And the whole purpose of me putting the powder is so it can grab onto the skin to dry down my skin. So it's mattifying the skin under the brows, because obviously there's skin under there, and it's gonna help so my skin doesn't become so oily through the day, so that my brows can last longer. So I'm gonna go ahead and start with the top portion of my brows first. And usually I just go with the actual mirror. I don't like to go in with the smaller mirror. I only go in with the smaller mirror when I am going more towards the bottom. On the top, I don't like to mess with it too much. I just fill in as much as I can. And I do use the mirror slightly just because I did reshape my brows. So my brows were a little bit more, they're uneven. I have one that's like straight, and one that rounds out. So I was trying to straighten both of them. The problem is that this brow doesn't grow anything down here and this one does. Like, my brows are completely opposites. They're like, they're cousins. They're not even sisters at this point. So it's been kind of a struggle for me to figure out what to do with my brows. And since I am going to the movies and we are doing a quick look for this, this is, like I said, when I'm going to work, this is literally what I do. Especially because I have other stuff I have to do before I get ready for work. I have to like make my lunch or feed my kids, which is what's gonna happen right now. As soon as I'm done here, I'm gonna feed my babies and then I'm gonna get ready to go to the movies. I'm just waiting to get picked up at this point, so I'm getting ready first. So again, I am just... It helps to look in a bigger mirror when you're doing your brows because you can actually see the shape you're giving yourself, because sometimes we can go ahead and give ourselves not the shape we want. In this case, you guys see I kind of went a little bit more flat here. So I'm just going to round out here to match this brow, because this one has a longer tail naturally. We have a longer tail here. This one does not have a longer tail naturally, so I have to build one up. All right, and then we're gonna now brush up. And this is where I am going to use a mirror just because I need to see a little bit more of the precision, because I do have a lot of bald spots. And please ignore all the powder on my face. I just realized I have all this freaking powder on my face. I'm just gonna grab this brush and just brush off any of this fallout I have. That's also why I brush the brows after I apply powder, because I have a lot of fallout. Ooh, I have a lot of fallout. So we're gonna go in now with the brows. And like I mentioned, my brows are so not the same. My brows are completely like the opposite. Like, this one is more fuller in the sense where it has more hair overall. And I do still obviously look at my bigger mirror. I just want to make sure, like I said, this smaller mirror is just mostly to make sure that I am filling in a little bit more sparser areas that I can't really tell from being so far away. And then right here, this brow is uneven. Like I said, this one technically is higher and this one is lower. So I have to even these, like match these out in the front and then make them as close as possible as I can. I know they always say, oh, you know, your brows are not twins, they're sisters and you gotta make it work. But I always am trying to make them look as close as they possibly can. And I do technically have a lot of hair on both brows, so they're not as sparse. So the process for you might be a little bit more different than mine. I literally am just filling in a lot of like patches where I need a little bit more coverage, but the brows are gonna look somewhat similar. And this is where I'm gonna stop and I'm gonna leave them. Just gonna fill in a little bit more like right here to kind of even out right here, because obviously this one's a little bit more full and this one naturally is not. And then right here I'm gonna just flip up also. Alright, and if it's not perfect, it's fine, because I'm gonna still go in with brow gel after, and the brow gel is pretty much just going to blend this all together so that it can work. And I actually do like this one for a drugstore. I never knew that Ulta Beauty had it like that with brow pencils. They do have also a thicker, like the definer, like the Anastasia one, but this is the skinnier one. It's not as skinny as it could be. I know that Morphe just came out with like their nano one, but yeah, we're gonna go ahead and get started with the rest of the face. So I'm gonna go in with two of these. This is the Milani Conceal and Perfect Blur Out Skin Tint. So I'm actually gonna go in with number 7 and number 12. So 12 is a medium tan with an olive undertone, and number 7 is a light medium with a neutral undertone. So I am technically olive and neutral. Like, it's weird because I'm not completely olive, but I'm not completely neutral either. I'm like a weird in between. Both of these mixed together are my perfect shade, like perfect. So don't forget that when you do buy these, if you're lucky enough to get like one of these is your actual color, you don't have to mix like I do. Don't forget, you do have to put this top back on. So this is what's gonna keep your product from drying out. A lot of people throw these out, or I know like at work, these there's no testers for these, so a lot of people tend to open them and leave these out, and the product dries out after because they want to see what the color is, and yeah, they end up ruining the actual makeup. And you at home should also take these off and put them back on. These are gonna keep your sticks fresh longer, so they will not dry out. So obviously now my skin is set, we are more than ready. The way I do this is I go in right here, obviously like where I would contour, and you guys can see the color is way darker than me. Way darker. So I literally just put it like if I were contouring. So I put it in areas where I know I would bronze, or in this case contour. And then the lighter one, which is this one, number 7, I put it in the areas where I would like to brighten. Right there, that's it. And I know that looks like a lot, but it really isn't. You just have to figure out what the balance is for you. I know for a lot of people, they have to mix these, or if you're lucky, like I said, you have your actual shade match for this. And if you do, good for you. I really wish there was only one of these, so I didn't have to buy both of these to make my perfect shade, but I did get it on sale, so that's why no me duele tanto. It's not much of a big deal. And also I'm gonna actually try this. We are gonna use this for the first time together here. This is the NYX foundation brush. So I actually I've seen NYX's foundation brush and they have another one, but I literally would never pay attention to it. So now we're gonna go ahead and try it out. So for this, because it is a stick, I do like to tap in the foundation into the skin. And we're trying out this brush. Usually I would use my BK Beauty 101 brush, but because we are doing drugstore only, I really wanted to try this out and see with you guys like what this can do for us, which is not bad, but it is shedding. Ooh, shit. What is that? Why do I see that? Am I seeing this? Yeah, look, it's shedding. Oh, not good, not good. I actually got this because it had good reviews. So I was just like, okay, well, I must be missing out on a NYX brush. Yeah, I don't know. It's already shedding on the first try. I literally just took it out of the packaging. I have not used this brush. I've had it on my little box, and I was actually waiting to try this out so that I can I was waiting to try this out with you guys on camera. I actually have not used this on before today. It's literally just been chilling on my box. But we are blending right, but I feel like it's not really, it's not blending good like I thought it was. I do like that it's small enough where you can control where your you know, you're putting your foundation, but it's not giving me like the smoothest application either. Like I don't feel like when I use, like, there's a lot of weird patchiness it gave me, and I know it's the brush because I've already used this before with a different brush. I've used this method before, and this like literally gave me these weird dry patches, and this has not happened before with this foundation. This is actually the first time this is happening. I'm gonna have to apply more because obviously the brush did not do what it was supposed to do. Damn it. I really was hoping it was gonna work for me because it's inexpensive, but obviously no quiso. Okay, I'm just gonna go in. Sorry guys, I know we're trying to keep a drugstore here. I was really trying to keep a drugstore, and also my brush is dirty, so that's also why I was like, let me try another brush. But I'm gonna go in with my BK Beauty 101 brush, and we're just gonna blend this in. And as you guys can see, the shade, I think I put a little bit too much olive. The NYX foundation brush was just like literally lifting the product from the skin, and it was leaving me very patchy. I did not like that one bit. I'm just gonna go in a little bit more just because I did go a little bit too dark with the olive. A lot of this is like, you gotta practice and kind of figure out what your tones are. I feel like I made myself a little bit too dark with the olive, so I had to apply some more of the light, what is it called? Light what? Light medium. And the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to apply a liquid bronzer, just because, like I said, I don't have an actual bronzer like powder drugstore, but I do have this liquid one. This is more on the expensive side, I will admit. This is the Winky Lux Cheeky Rose Liquid Sculpt in the color Ibiza. You guys know this is usually my ride or die right here type of brush. And I'm gonna go ahead and use my, where is it at? I haven't used her in a while, and I feel like I have to use her because we're doing drugstore only. But at the same time, I'm like, I already started using non-drugstore stuff, so I should probably use my other brush. But I am going to use the e.l.f. Putty Bronzer brush, and I'm just gonna blend this out using that brush. This brush, it is a little bit more smaller than my BK 109 brush, but it's fine. And again, I'm just using this to kind of bring some color back into my life, into my face. I'm getting a weird patchiness there. I think it's the fact that I used the other brush first and it like blended my makeup really weird. I'm moving on to concealer. So for concealer, I'm going to also use from Milani, which is a Conceal and Perfect long wear concealer. I do have it in the shade 135, and don't be afraid with these. A lot of these tubes, they look lighter in the actual tube than what the color actually is. So this is 135 in case you're wondering. It does look slightly light, but this concealer weirdly kind of like oxidizes, not oxidized, but it does get deeper. Alright, I'm gonna go ahead and use my BK Beauty A506 brush. Yes, I know I just said I wasn't gonna use it, but I don't have another concealer brush. I did have another concealer brush that I got on Amazon, but I got rid of it because I wasn't using it. So I was like, what's the point of me getting it if keeping it? I was like decluttering a bunch of my brushes. I was like, there is no point in me keeping this, so I got rid of it. Every time I get rid of stuff, I actually do donate it. Stuff that obviously I haven't really used. My concealers, my concealer brush, I used it once or twice. I washed them and they're just literally just right here in my little thing that I have with all my brushes. And it just stays there. It literally just stays there. It does not get touched again. Once I usually find like a concealer brush that I really like, I don't gravitate towards anything else, because you know, once you find something you like, it's really hard for you to like want to use anything else other than that. You know, once you find your thing, why change if it's working, you know? And this concealer is pretty decent for drugstore. I obviously wear my Hourglass Vanish concealer, and even that creases on me. I feel like once you're in your 30s, you're never gonna find a concealer that just doesn't crease, unless you've obviously had like filler or Botox. Like I haven't had either, so because of that I struggle to really find something that works for me. And then obviously based on your concealer needs, you can add more, add less, whatever works for you. I'm gonna add a little bit more on this eye, but you guys saw like it starts off light, but as I am blending it out, it darkens. Like when I'm at work, I literally tell people all the time, it's whatever it is on the picture. Don't think it's not what's on the picture, because on the tube it looks so much lighter. And I went based off of the picture, 135. I was like, oh, let me try the 135. I think 135 is gonna be my shade. The most common color for this one is like 130 and 125. And then a lot of people do tend to come back and exchange it because it's too light for them. But I do work obviously in a predominantly Hispanic store, so it's too light for them, so they have to come back. I'm gonna go in with this Milani Cream Cheek Kiss. This is in the 110 Sun Kiss Glow. So I believe you can get this online or at Walmart. I'm gonna go in with a mix of this one and this one. I really do like this palette. This is a very like underrated palette, to be honest. I really don't hear a lot of people talk about it, but I honestly think it's really, I like the color scheme. This is my type of color scheme shades. For everybody else it's different, but I'm gonna go in with this middle pink color first. And yes, I am going directly in with my e.l.f. liquid blush brush. And look at that, it is such a pretty color. This is actually the first time I'm using this color. And I am going to technically apply it just at the top, the front of my cheeks. You guys see that? It gives me like the nicest little flush of color. This is not going to be like something that's going to be, oh my god, super pigmented. These are like their Cheek Kiss, the individual ones, which I honestly really like also. But for me, I like this palette a little bit better. This is really good for traveling, when you can't decide what color you want to go with. I'm now going to go in with this one. What, Stinky Booty? And I'm actually going to concentrate this one on the outer part of my cheek. And then I'm gonna slowly start blending it into the other color. And look at that color. And don't be scared. I know it looks like a lot. I know it does. Trust me, I know it does. But don't be afraid. You're fine. You're fine. You're fine. So I'm gonna grab my Milani Conceal and Perfect Blur Out powder, and I'm actually gonna grab a brush. If you apply powder the way you want to apply, I am going to use a puff, but the puff is gonna come at a later moment. I just need to apply this first this way because I am 36. I cannot apply powders the way I used to, like when I was obviously younger. So I'm just gonna go in with this little pointed brush. This came in a set that I bought like years ago. You can still find that. It's on Amazon. If you guys want me to tag it, I will tag it down below. But I'm just gonna go ahead and dip it into my Milani Blur Out powder and tap off the excess. And I'm just gonna leave this brush here. And then I'm going to grab my blush brush here, and then I'm going to grab my concealer brush. So if you've been here before, you already know exactly what I'm going to do. But if you haven't, trust the process. You're about to see what I'm about to do. So I'm going to go back in with my concealer brush. And the reason why I do this is because this one, I'm not creasing as much as I usually do, but the top, I'm creasing. So usually I will go back in and blend out all my concealer again. So we're just reblending all of this out. Okay, and then I'm gonna get my blush brush and I'm gonna reblend out right here, specifically just right here where I blended out that concealer. And I do this very, very fast because I crease very, very fast. And I really like this brush because it's nice and pointy. It really goes in there. Ooh, and be careful if you have a fan. I have a fan blowing and the fan just blew the damn air right into my eyes. Some people, specifically me, when that happens, my eye wants to cry. And then I'm gonna go in with my sponge that we were just talking about. And I'm gonna go back into this powder. And I'm going to set again. Same thing. Other eye. And I'm going to set the rest of my face. And some of the damn concealer came off. Can you guys tell? Right there. I think it might be the brush. It just is, maybe it's not working well. I want to say it might be that. I don't know at this point what is causing that. But don't be afraid to apply on top of powder. So that's what I'm about to do. But I'm going to go ahead and just blend it out with my finger. I saw the Vogue video with Salma Hayek and how she applies her makeup, and she literally applies everything with her damn finger. I'm just gonna apply some powder over my nose again. My makeup just does not want to stay. Can you guys see that? I chose the wrong day to record because it is not cooperating with me whatsoever. But I'm gonna move on. So right here, I'm just gonna actually grab my I don't even want to use it, but I'm gonna have to. I'm gonna use my Smashbox Kelly Contour palette. I promise guys, on the next one I'm gonna find a bronzer, a drugstore bronzer. I'm just gonna use the bronzer that's in this palette just so I can obviously apply some bronzer to my face. Just so I can apply a little bit of bronzer. I was trying to get away with the liquid. Obviously that did not work. So I'm just applying a little bit of bronzer over that blush. But you guys see, like, the blush is still very much seeping through, even with powder. So that's why I'm always like, how come people are not talking about this blush? Like the cream ones, because they are still very much popping out. Okay, and I'm just gonna grab my little fluffy brush and I'm actually going to apply it all over the eye lid. And this doesn't have to be like a special brush. You can just get whatever brush, like fluffy brush you have for the eyes, and just go all over the eye and into the crease. And this also helps my eyelids because my eyelids tend to crease really quick. They don't like to cooperate. They are the most annoying things ever. And then also I'm gonna apply some under here. And you can use the same fluffy brush, just crunch it up like this to make it more of like a liner. Okay. And then I'm gonna use the bronzer and the contour. I'm just gonna go over my nose a little bit. Just gonna define my nose a little bit. My nose is looking a little crooked, especially since I'm missing a damn patch of makeup right down the middle. I need to get ready. They already told me they're on their way here, so I need to be ready by the time they're here. So for blush, I'm just gonna go ahead and go in with my Milani Baked Blush in Luminoso. Yes, I don't even have the lid to this. This is literally an old one. I have yet to get rid of this, and I know I should, because this is actually from before they changed the formula. Because they did change the Luminoso formula. It used to be different before, and then they changed it. But I literally just use it to give myself a nice little highlight at the top of my cheeks. And then I blend a little bit into the tip of my nose. And at this case, a little bit up the nose, because obviously I'm missing some freaking makeup. Okay. And then why do I feel like I'm so much more olive? Just going back in with my same powder brush with nothing on it, whatever is left over. And I'm just pretty much just going over right here, just certain areas. But it's okay. We're gonna go ahead and move on. I'm gonna go ahead and use this humongous bottle, which by the way I bought it also because it was on sale. This big bottle, which is usually $20, was on sale for like $13, I believe. I was like, yes, I'm buying it. This is supposed to be like the Charlotte Tilbury dupe, which I also have right here. So look at the difference, guys. This is 3.3 ounces, this is 6 ounces, and you get more for your buck, obviously, with the Milani one. But ooh, I have to spray it first. This is the first time I'm obviously opening it. But I'm going to go ahead and use this to go in and melt all my powders. Into the skin. Whew. It literally says hold breath during application. I was literally smelling and I'm like, oh my god, it smells so, like, not heavy, but I do smell a scent. Which is not bad. But we're pretty much done with the base already. Just FYI, we're done with the base. If you want to add more, like I said, this is more of a no makeup look for myself. For other people, you can add more, take away more. It is what it is. It's your choice, your face. You do what you want to do. This is just what I'm doing and what works for me. Obviously not my face right now because my face wants to act stupid. Let me go ahead and just... It doesn't spray even. I just noticed that. It sprays very, very uneven. I'm trying to spray right here and I went straight direct and it went in a whole ass circle. So it sprays like in a circle, just in case you've never tried it before. There you go. I think I remember when I first bought it in the smaller one, like years ago. I haven't bought it since then. It would say to apply it in a zigzag motion because obviously it doesn't spray evenly. I feel like Milani needs to fix that. They need to just put a regular damn sprayer. Like, why do we need to go and spray in a certain angle? Just do what you gotta do, man. Just let it be. Just let it be. Okay, and I'm just gonna go ahead and curl my lashes and apply mascara. So for mascara, I actually don't have the Milani mascara. There's a lot of mixed reviews for the mascara. I've never bothered to buy it. I bought it once and I forgot about it. It stayed in my car and I just returned it. I was like, I can't use that. There's no way in hell this is still good. So I returned it because it stayed in my car the whole time. I was like, there's no way I'm gonna go ahead and use that. But yeah, I am just gonna go in with my e.l.f. waterproof Big Mood. Just FYI, if you have really flat lashes, waterproof, I know you guys don't like to use waterproof because waterproof is so difficult to take off, is the way to go. Like, it's just the way to go. I actually just told that to a guest a couple of days ago, if I'm not mistaken. She was like, oh, she came up to me and she's like, which mascara do you recommend that is not waterproof, that will hold the lashes up, like, you know? And then she showed me, she's like, I have very flat lashes. And I told her, I'm like, look, I'm gonna be honest with you, you're gonna have to get waterproof mascara. And she looked at me with this face, and then I told her, I know why you don't want to, because I know you don't want to struggle with removing it, which is perfectly normal. We all don't want to struggle with taking off mascara. And then also she responded with, you know, it's because when I rub my my mascara off, I am literally taking off lashes and I don't want to take whatever little I have. And I told her, well, there are oil cleansers to use in the eyes. Don't obviously use the same. There's obviously very different ways to remove makeup. You can go in with an oil cleanser. I just was giving her like recommendations, and I told her, like, I know you don't want to do waterproof, but it's the only thing that's gonna hold the lashes up, as you guys can see. So just FYI, if you do buy the Milani Make It Last, this is gonna be more of a natural finish. So that what that means, it's gonna leave you not matte but not super dewy, but with enough of a natural glow. If you don't like that, I would suggest going in with the matte one, which would be this little black one. I do have it in a travel size. I have yet to open it. I've had that thing forever and I've never opened it. It's just, matte used to be the thing back in like 2015, 16 makeup, and it is trying to kind of make a comeback now, but I just don't like the matte look anymore. Even though I'm oily, I just don't think matte is good when you are in your 30s because it accentuates fine lines, and obviously it just makes you look older, or if you have texture, it adds on to that. That's the only reason why I'm not into matte anymore, like super matte products. And the last thing I'm going to do to my face before we move on to the lips is I'm actually going to use this. This is the Milani Stellar Lights in the color Rose Glow. It does have these 3 colors that you guys see here, but I literally only grab maybe the rose gold or this one. This one is the perfect one for inner corner. What I'm gonna do today though is I'm actually gonna use this small little blending brush, and I'm going to just go ahead and apply it all over the eye. And it's literally the most gorgeous glitter, you guys can see. So I know I put that bronzer already, but this is just like a topper. You can go in with your finger if you like. I just like to go in with a brush just because it's a little bit more precise. And then with the pink color, I'm just gonna go in to the inner corner. Probably should have done it the opposite, huh? I should have done pink all over the eye and silver in the inner corner. We're too late now. We're too late now. And with the same brush, I'm just going to apply the white color, tip of the nose, and right here. So this is kind of that highlight's gonna blend. It's going to hide the fact that I don't really have makeup right here, and you know, that's fine. And then I'm just gonna go back in with the white color, and I'm just gonna top off that pink over it. I'm gonna go in with this Milani Color Statement lip liner in the color Spice. I actually have never opened this, and I think I've had this for like 4 years and I've never opened it, but we're gonna open it today. Ooh, yes. And I really do like their lip products. They have the best lip products out in the market, in case you haven't tried any of it. And this color is like my color, just slightly a little bit more pink on me, as you guys can see. So if you saw my Tarte review of the custom kit box that you get for $72, I talked about the lip liner and how you really couldn't even see it. This one, you can see it, as you can see. And then I'm just gonna top it off with, ooh, oh my god, almost, with a lip gloss, just so we can get on out of here. I'm gonna just use this e.l.f. Glow Reviver Melting Lip Balm in the color Vanilla Toffee. And then I'm just gonna quickly curl my lashes. And this is the finished look. I hope you guys enjoyed watching me struggle. I usually don't have those issues. I honestly feel it's because my skincare was not the way I usually do it when I do my makeup. I literally was like, I already did my skincare. I'm literally going to the movies. It's already 8 o'clock. Let me not do so much. So I literally just did toner, moisturizer, and I applied makeup. And obviously my skin felt it because it did not do what it was supposed to do. This is why it's so important to prep your skin well with skincare before you go ahead and apply makeup, because that can make or break your makeup as you are applying. Obviously, as you guys were able to tell from me, my nose just did not want to. My under eyes were not having it, but the makeup look is still doing its thing. And I hope you guys enjoyed watching this. If you guys want me to do more of these, please let me know down below. And also, if you guys did like this video, please make sure to like it, and if you haven't already, please make sure to subscribe. I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.